Welcome. This is the big issue, and send us your thoughts and comments on WhatsApp, and we're happy to share it with the rest of the wonderful world. We're just interested in the national agenda here, and we will do our best to push that agenda as always. Daily Guide says Ghana card to become e-passport, according to Vice President Dr. Bawumia yesterday at by the fireside conversation. Jabin MCE in bribe scandal arrested by police, also invited by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Road carnage, 23 perish in 2 days, and Nana makes Ghana's position on climate change clear. The Daily Graphic, Glasgow Summit on Climate Change. Honor your pledges. President tells wealthy nations. And also Ghana card to become e-passport by first quarter 2022, according to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. 2022 budget will regain investor confidence. Edu Buahin, his Deputy Finance Minister, Minister of State in charge of finance at the Finance Ministry. Also, don't underdeclare incomes for better pensions. SNIT to employers. The Ghanaian Times will continue climate change combat, but won't abandon use of natural resources. President Akufo-Addo. 6 burnt to death, 16 others injured in road crash at Ofinso in Kekasu. Veep lays with lights perpetual flame in honor of 11 fallen police officers. That includes ASP Ashilevi, who I spoke about not a while ago. A little while ago, I should say. DVLA wins 2 awards at Jita Night. The Informer newspaper. In this issue, barely 2 years after COVID-19, report reveals women worse affected. And foreign again on 100 billion promise to fight climate change. Comes with a photo of 4 presidents, our president, the British Prime Minister, French President, and the US President. What did they have in common? Were they sleeping? Akufo-Addo blasts GH countries, and Parliament replies Attorney General says resolution is for General Legal Counsel to abide by its advertised 50% pass mark. Also, MMDC's confirmation Security Dawn advises against use of force and is also calling Professor Enin on the Peace Council to step in. The planned strike over conditions of service. JUSA gives government a week's ultimatum, but Chief Justice pleads. The Daily Statesman, 6 burned to death in Akomadan accident. Ghana card to become e-passport as Ghana makes massive gains in digitization agenda. Also, climate change, Ghana's development, all important. President tells world leaders. The BNFT is our final one for this morning. It says Asante Hene endorses ZPay mobile money and MD. Every newborn child to get Ghana card number, according to Dr. Bawumia. And We Power embarks on major CSR initiative. My guest this morning will be introduced to you shortly, but a quick belated happy birthday to Reverend Mike Niabose, my own brother, and also to Francisca Sefako Kumaho, the administrator at the Princess Marie Louis Hospital. Reverend Mike Niabose is the bishop of the Citadel of Truth International Church. Belated happy birthday to you, big bro and big sis, as I like to call them. Also, happy birthday to Fiona, Princess Fiona Na Anyele Delali Mensa. Na Anyele Delali Mensa. It's your birthday today. This is from all your family, particularly from your father, Lieutenant Kelvin Zaid Okpoti Mensa. And says happy birthday to you. James Brown is the Director of Elections and Research of the Okankwe South NPP. It's your birthday today, JB. Happy birthday to you. And also a happy birthday to Curtis Nanaya or Damio Fori. You're 5 years today. This is from your dad, your mom, your little sister, and the entire Fori family. If it's your birthday as well, happy birthday. And thanks to Grant Park Clothing at Dansoman for my outfit. Call them, please. 020-985-5696. Again, 020-985-5696. It's a poppy appeal. We're wearing it until the 11th of November. If you don't have one yet, go by the Veterans Administration of Ghana, get it, or at designated points, churches, schools, and all of that. You could get some. Support the veterans. They gave their lives and sacrifice for us, and we should support them. George AEC is the commander in charge of communications at the National Disaster Management Organization. I wish that was the nomenclature, because NADMO moves out in an energetic way. And also Malik Basintale is the man in charge of communications for the NDC in the Savannah region. Gentlemen, welcome. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
How are we doing?
Oh, we're good by grace.
Great.
Favor has found us.
It has. I like your suit. It's fantastic. Big man.
Small boy.
Malik, how are you?
We're coping up.
You're coping. Are you sure?
Right.
Your coping means that there are challenges.
Lots of challenges. I'm not peculiar to only me. I think you're part and parcel of the problem.
Don't rope me into it.
No. These are things.
Make your speech, I beg you.
These are general things.
Please make your speech.
Well, these are general matters. These are national issues. I'm not the only one in it. Even my brother George is in it. I'm very certain that when you get to the pumps today, they don't ask of your party card before. Your purchase of fuel. They give you what you're able to buy. And if, 100 cedis could take you for 30 to 1 hour drive, today it takes you, less than that. And within 15, 20 minutes journey, about 100 cedi fuel is bent off. And so I think that these are challenges we all in, myself, Mr. George, and your good self, everybody here will attest to the fact that the dollar is rising. And so when I say it's a national issue, I simply mean that we are all in it, we are all in the boat, nobody is escaping. But for the people who, yes, of course, do not buy fuels at the pump, they use coupons and what have you, these are people who are not part and parcel of these challenges. But
aside be optimistic.
That, we're all in it. Well, no, but there's a reality, that yes, there are people who do not use physical cash to buy fuels at the pump.
Right.
They use coupons. I'm sure my brother George is part of that. That group of people. But aside that, we all in it.
I'm the beginning.
No.
You're leaving me out.
Yeah, so we all in it.
I
We're
hear you.
hoping that yes, we'll get to a point where we get a savior in 2025.
I hear you. George, do you endorse his roping you in or
rejecting me?
Does he accept the coupon or the cash?
Or the cash?
Or that we are all in it? We are all involved.
Jenny, good morning to you. Good morning to my brother Basintelli. It's always exciting to meet him. When young guys are pushing and supporting their parties the way he's doing, it ought to be appreciated and encouraged. That's good. But yes, we are not saying there are not challenges and difficulties, especially coming on the heels of the COVID-19. His Excellency, the Vice President, yesterday acknowledged that. I bet we are putting in all the efforts and making all the strides to ensure that things are bettered for the Ghanaian. So that's what I would say. Fuel pricing and co. When you do the maths, sometimes I look at it and I say the rate of rise compared to now is a bit slower. But that notwithstanding, the price has gone up. Okay, and so the average Ghanaian is feeling the pinch, and definitely with the strides by the NPA headed by Dr. Mustafa Hamid Sheikh is going to look at, they are taking off certain this thing out of it. And yesterday I heard they say a paper saying they missed the 1st November thing, but it doesn't mean they are not going to implement it. So let's look forward to that relief package approved by His Excellency the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, which will be implemented by the MPA and others, so that we'll get some relief.
We're waiting for Parliament.
Yes.
Let Parliament not delay us.
Yes.
So that November and December can be exciting.
Yes.
Yesterday, the Vice President of the Republic, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, was at a fireside conversation organized in collaboration with the Ministry of Information. And he had spoken extensively about what government had done within the space of digitization and digitalization. Take a look at it, and then we'll come back to have that conversation. A quick one.
End of the first quarter next year, the Ghana card will be recognized globally as an e-passport and can be read and verified in all ICAO compliant borders. That is 197 countries, 44,000 airports in the world. When this happens, holders of the Ghana card will be allowed to board any flight to Ghana. Furthermore, the good news for diasporan Ghanaians is that when the Ghana Immigration Service is linked to the NIA architecture, and that will be soon, Diasporan Ghanaians who hold the Ghana card should not have to obtain visas to return to Ghana.
Great news, yes, George. What would be your initial thoughts of the encounter yesterday at Ashesi University?
Yeah, thank you. I would say characteristic of him, very splendid, straight to the point. And, you know, the comparisons yesterday was mostly within the government that he serves in.
First term and second term, first year
yes,
of first term and
yes,
first year of second.
yes, and not necessarily with what we know His Excellency the Vice President does sometimes, giving some jobs to the former president and others. But yesterday, purely focused on digitalization and its relevance or linkage to the economy and how to build the economy. He started with on the premise of some economic indicators and how the performance comparatively is improving. So it was, I really enjoyed the lecture. I sat, you know, glued to my television from the beginning to the end. But for little, you know, problems with some of the networks, would have been, you know, abreast with everything from A to Z. Having said that, I thought the Vice President also touched on a lot of very important things, which are very exciting, like what you just played. It's very exciting. Another thing is the importance of the digitalization and its relevance to education. You know, the Wi-Fi thing, he mentioned the number of institutions, about 706 or so institutions have been connected, which is very important. And then the, you know, teachers being given laptops that are uploaded with a scheme of work and some lesson notes and code that will guide them on what to teach in the relevant subjects. And the exciting part again is what he said.
Sorry about that. Mind the mic for me.
Okay, good. The exciting part is again what he said in relation to tablets to be given to students.
Right.
You get it, where those tablets will be uploaded with the relevant textbooks. And I thought that is a good thing, and it's going to be a win-win for publishers and students. Okay, what it means is that the students with a pick of the tablet is able to access some textbooks that he would need for his academic work, and then because of that, the publisher too is assured that each year, you know, there's going to be some payment to them because the state is using those textbooks for all schools in the country, right? So it's a win-win for publishers and students, and I'm so happy with those ones. And then he talked about the payment platform, okay, the www.ghana.gov, where, you know, all major government institutions that take revenue on behalf of government and co are interlinked, okay, so that, you know, any payment made on those platforms goes straight to government chest, right? And that is good for revenue mobilization and to up the issue, because we've been saddled with the issue of not meeting our revenue targets and all that. And so these progress that we are making in the digital arena is something that is phenomenal, and then will push us to, you know, a place that as a third world country will be inching towards second world and ultimately.
Let me take you back
world.
to the issue of tablets for students. Now, this is a story published on the 24th of October 2017. It says that government to supply SHS students with mobile devices. Minister, that's Esla Kufu. Minister of Communications Esla Kufu has disclosed that her ministry is in talks with the Ghana Education Service to revisit its decision on the ban on mobile phones use among second cycle students across the country. This, she said, has become imperative because the Communication Ministry, in collaboration with its stakeholders, is in the process of providing mobile phones installed with school syllables and other learning materials to students to enable them to do away with carrying large notebooks and textbooks. So this promise has been made before in 2017. Why have we not been able to achieve it and rehashing that promise instead of telling the people that we couldn't do it. So we are going to look at it and tell the people why we couldn't achieve it, rather than rehashing it as if we never said it before.
Oh, rehashing, I don't want to use that. Policy implementation has gestation periods and the maturity period. So there are rollout processes. So if the communication, 2017 was our initial year, right, for this, the last term. And so if it's been spoken about, steps will be taken to ensure that it is actualized.
But,
So
but if the Vice President is
believe-
comparing the first year of his first term, which is 2017,
Yes.
and the first year of the second term, which is 2021,
Yes.
he should be able to tell us the
So
first year
he's telling
comparisons.
you that promise is going to be actualized.
It's
okay?
taking you 5
So
years.
Digital, some of these things, you know, you need stakeholders and all that, and then, you know, you need to agree with some of the publishers and co on terms, okay, before you do the upload. If I'm a writer or a publisher and you want to upload my textbooks on a platform, okay, we need to come to terms, agree, and then it's going. How much are you paying me each year? Till what time, okay? So I think those negotiations and co may be part of the processes. So I think it's a good step that His Excellency the Vice President is putting out, and students must be excited. But notwithstanding that, you say 2017, the minister touched on it. Yes.
She promised.
Yes, yes. So promise, and then I hope by 2022 we should actually begin to experience those promises that is being put in place, especially now that His Excellency the Vice President, Mr. Digitization himself is
What else was your major pick in the Vice President's speech? For example, within the area of a cashless society, I got interested in that as well.
Yes.
Was it
yes.
a point of interest for you?
Very, very, very. But we're virtually drifting there. That we are almost there. And so when it's happened, when you're digitizing, and what excited me to again is about the cybersecurity thing, especially when you are digitizing, building fire fences and other things to protect your data and others is very key. And so I'm excited about the ECD, those things. But how are we building on the protection of data in especially the banking system, because hackers are then going to be wild on their expertise and then put them in place. And that is a fact that most banks, when they are hacked, they will not come and tell you Johnny use, okay, that they've been hacked and all that, but it will affect their revenue and everything. So we need to build strong cybersecurity. So the ECD thing is a good thing. Going forward, if we drift to that point, it will help all of us, especially with this thing of carrying bunch of currency notes and co. And then there is a signal to our operators of the bullion van and co to begin to look at alternative, okay, to support the building of the economy. Because when it happens that way, it may affect some of them.
In the whole mix that was given to us yesterday, the COVID-19 app, which we spent money for, which we were told we didn't spend money for initially, was conspicuously missing, even though COVID-19 is not gone. And the government finds reason to blame its inability to achieve certain things on COVID-19. The Minister for National Security was in Parliament telling us that we couldn't achieve the implementation of cameras, CCTV cameras all around 360 because of COVID-19. But the Vice President ignored, or maybe, shall I say, forgot to mention the COVID-19 app, which he launched. Strange?
I don't think it's strange. It would have been ideal and proper if it had been highlighted by His Excellency and what stage it is. Okay, I agree with you that COVID is not gone. It's still with us, and sorry, it's informing our policy decisions as we move on. And true, and nobody can dispute the effect it had on economic management of every country of the world. But I agree with you. If the Vice President had really touched on that and where we have reached as far as the COVID-19 app is concerned. And it would have even, continue to make people look at it and how to, because most times, sometimes I also get notifications on my phone to make certain comments on my COVID status and other things. So it means the app is in operation. So it
But how come the vice president who launched the app
yes.
forget such a major thing that he had launched?
There are a lot of
he
things.
Remembered everything but the app.
I'm happy it's a place of interest to you. Today you have helped by bringing it up so that attention. But I thought if he himself had touched on that, it would have brought the importance and relevance of that app to the bare face of everybody. But unfortunately, there are a lot of things to touch on.
How much did it cost us to organize this? Because yesterday I was looking at the list of media houses that were beaming this live. Quite a tall list, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering why we've had to spend so much money to tell the people what we have done. Should it not be the people feeling what we have done and trumpeting it on our behalf as is done elsewhere? So, for example, we had Vision FM, Liberty FM, Stylish Radio, Oboba FM, Afema FM, Achimansa FM, Republic FM, Success FM, Jewel FM, Rejoice FM, NIMD FM, Service FM, Space FM, Radio Link, Star FM, Classic FM, Kano FM, Safari FM, Diamond FM, Radio North Star, Radio Justice, Sankara Radio, Breed FM, Tunsung FM, Home Radio, Radio Progress, WFM, Pod FM, Yagbin FM, Magic FM, Nkligi FM, I hope I got that right, A1 Radio, Dreams FM, Yura Radio, Boku FM, Nkwa FM, ATL FM, Golden Star FM, all over, all the way to Joy, Asase, Wale, Kesben, tallest, more than 70 media houses.
I'm excited.
Why did we have to do that, and how much did it cost us?
I'm excited that when you started, most of the, forgive my choice of word, the small radio stations are all captured therein. And so I think it's a good thing for the media. And then we want to reach out to every Guinean everywhere. And so the message is important, especially on digitalization. The rate at which the world is digitalizing, if we are not abreast with that, it may affect most of us. Yesterday, when he was speaking, I wrote this relating to the digitalization.
Finally, somebody can come.
Yes, yeah, a vision couched in futuristic opportunities for everyone ready and willing to go along. Okay. That is the digital world we're in.
At what cost yesterday?
Yeah, the cost, I believe the Minister of Information will be able to give you the exact, I don't have it now. But I think it's a good move to get all radio stations and co, especially in the rural communities, linked to this so that the message will go out to the people and possibly resonate with everyone.
I hear you. Malik, what were your key points?
Well, I listened to the Vice President yesterday, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
Right.
From start to end. In fact, I was monitoring on TV3 when you guys switched over.
To News 360.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I don't know why, but your guess is as good as mine. Johnny, in effect, and with the greatest of respect to the Vice President, I think he's not really looking at what other Vice Presidents are doing in their countries. And you see, I will explain that.
He has to be independent.
I'll explain that, but then you need to compare yourself. You need to check your pace. You need to look at what others are doing. I mean, in an event that you don't even know your clear direction, because ideally the Constitution hasn't defined a clear rule for the Vice President. But in effect, in event that you don't know the lines or strides you are taking, you look at what others are doing, and then you coach yourself. Look, Dr. Bawumia would go down in history as the most jocular, I mean, a whimsical.
That's not fair.
No, jocular is not an insult.
That's not fair.
It's not an insult. It's the office
what he did yesterday was not a joke.
I'll explain that. Don't worry. Jocular and whimsical Vice President the Republic of Ghana would ever have. And clearly, in clear terms, I went on the page of Vice President of Nigeria, for example, Professor Yemi Osibanjo, and At the point where Dr. Bawumia was talking of being born and given a Ghana card, he was commissioning the Duchess International Airport. Duchess International Hospital, the first of its kind in Nigeria, at the same spa and level with any hospital in Hong Kong or Washington. At the same point in time, the Vice President of South Africa, David Mabuza, was doing so great, commissioning schools they had put up in their country. At the same point in time, the Vice President of America, Kamala, was launching what we call the Bring Back Better. I'm sure you followed that, where you'd have free healthcare, basic healthcare for people and what have you. These are what other vice presidents are doing in their country.
He decides to champion a digitized agenda.
I'll explain that. I tuned in only to see the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana praising himself that every child born in Ghana will be given a Ghana card.
What's wrong with that?
To what benefit?
What's wrong with that? If you are born in the US, if you are born in the US, your details are known.
Okay.
So that by the time you turn 18 or 21 in the UK, you are giving your stuff. You don't have to go and queue up a bet and
do you know why that is done in the US?
No.
It is done because the government supports in childcare. And so they need this data in order for the government to support in the upbringing of the child. For example, in China, if a child is born and issued with a card, the child enjoys free education from the basic level to whenever the person wants to get to free healthcare. Are some of the benefits children in these countries enjoy. And that is why these things are issued to them. I'll come to that. Yesterday, I listened clearly. And you see, Johnny, they were very petty achievements.
Really?
I will explain. Don't worry. There's a lot of time. Very petty achievements that were counted as major achievements for the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia. First of all, like I said, he spoke about every child being given a Ghana card at birth. A lot of people thought that these are not bread and butter issues. The second point was that the Vice President boldly boasted that they had installed CCTV cameras around the country. Look, these are achievements the IGP has been taking credit for. These are things that the police service has been taking credit for. And so if the whole vice president will be competing with an IGP on such credits, then in other terms, sooner than later, he will soon be bragging of ensuring that we have dogs on our roads, guarding us, and then horses on the streets.
But Malik, to be fair, if we don't know the numbers of people that we have, because it says the Ghana card will be connected to the Ghana Statistical Service, and we'll know the numbers of people, so we can plan for them. Johnny, that's a good thing, isn't it?
I would come to all that. Okay. I will get there. Don't worry. You allowed him. Let me flow, please, with the greatest of respect. Look, the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, yesterday spoke of how you remember in recent times, he said the Ghana Post GPS was the best, and even the US and UK did not have, mechanisms of that sort. And just yesterday, the Vice President said they were pleading with Google to accept our Ghana Post onto their system. If yours is best, and in fact, he used the term, he said they were leapfrogging or whatever, and is the best in the world, why don't you go to beg another country's system, GPS system, for them to incorporate yours into their existing one? Yesterday, the Vice President again, in clear terms, made emphasis to the fact that they had finished the Ghana Post again. The GPS system had been fully installed, and that you no longer use cocoa sellers' houses. He made an example like that, and watches seller joints in order to identify your locations. Look, we stated emphatically from the beginning to the end that even before the existence of the Ghana Post GPS, there was already a Google apparatus in place where anybody could find a location of where he was going to. And these were systems that were free until Dr. Bawumia thought that we could create a budget for it, something that was free, and incorporate it into our systems. Again, where I realized that the Vice President did not even leave or did not have a clear appreciation of things of current happenings in the country was the fact that he spoke of e-pharmacy and that they were going to incorporate that and ensure that we buy drugs online. Johnny, without any interest in advertising for any social media app or what have you, anybody with an app called Glovo can simply go online there and then buy drugs online. There's already an e-pharmacy system in place. And anybody watching can simply take your phone, go on Glovo. You have a section where you buy food, and you have a section where you order drugs. But for the fact that Dr. Bawumia has no current appreciation of current happiness in this country, he thought that it wasn't in this country, and they were now going to incorporate it. He also made emphasis to the fact that the Ghana card was going to be used as a system for Ghanaians abroad to come back home without visas.
E-visas, right.
Johnny, you and I know that any Ghanaian anywhere in the world, unless you are going to have a transit in a country that requires a visa, when you are coming home, you don't need a visa to come home. It's a system that has always been in place. Even in an event where the plane would have transit in a country that requires a visa, you only get a transit visa from the embassy, and that is mandatory. That is easy to attain. In other words, if you are in any part of the country, in China, in the US, or what have you, you would be able to come back home without a visa. These are things Dr. Bawumia doesn't do. And I think that you should cross-check with his boss, Mr. Akufo-Addo, who has a better understanding of travels because he spends most of his life traveling around the country. Another thing he said.
So for you didn't hear any good thing yesterday said by the vice president. Is that the indication I get from you?
You see, before I arrive at that point, I must explain to viewers.
We don't have all day.
Don't
worry.
I will get there. I'll give him a lot of time.
I gave him 12 minutes.
I will get there. Don't worry. Let me use my time.
You have done 9 minutes.
Then they just take the remaining time, and I'll know that you didn't give me time at all on this show. Another thing he made emphasis on was the fact that you could travel anywhere in the world without attaining a visa. These are things in the past that every government does. These are, I don't want to say they are acts of mediocrity, but every government negotiates on events like this. Today from Ghana, you can go to Mauritius without a visa. It's visa free. Today from Ghana, you can go to Jamaica without a visa. You can go to, Bangladesh without a visa. These are countries and negotiations that countries go into, and has absolutely nothing to do with acquiring an e-visa or what have you. These are systems already in place, even before Dr. Bawumia came. Again, he said mobile money. One of his achievements was the fact that they had done interoperability. And you see, this is the reason why I said Dr. Bawumia appears very petty, jocular, and whimsical. The reason is that in 2009, mobile money, the system to which you build your interoperability on, was incorporated under the NDC. We never went to market with this because, you see, we can't be competing with the CEO of MTN or Vodafone over something he should be applauding himself over. But for the fact that Dr. Bawumia thinks that, okay, he should take achievements of petty people, even assemblymen, and count them as his own achievements, he wouldn't have been speaking like this. Again, he lied. And you see, in things like this, you mustn't even say he peddled falsehood. He clearly lied.
He lied on what?
I'll explain. About what? That's what I'm to explain.
Allow me to do my work then.
No, the interjections are becoming too much and unusual of you. In fact, Dr. Bawumia said clearly that interoperability, he has been saying this, was first. Ghana was first to have it in Africa. It is false. Totally lies. You go to Kenya. Kenya had theirs one clear month before Ghana had theirs. And you know what they call it? They call it the M-Pesa. Sorry. M for money. M-Pesa in Swahili means, money. M for mobile. M-Pesa for money. And so that's mobile money in their terms. And they had it one clear month before Ghana had theirs. And people have even said that probably we only went to copy or buy their system and put it and kept it in place in this country. And so in clear terms, that was also false. Again, look, and this is critical to me. Look, Dr. Bawumia yesterday admitted that he had lost track, in other terms, of economic matters. He had stopped looking at the radar and decided to focus on just 1%, an aspect of the entire economy. Go to the radar. And today, I prefer dealing in figures. Our tax to revenue, okay, as of today, is our debt, total debt as of today, is above 360 billion.
Be wrapping up
Our
for me.
debt to tax revenue is 656.02%. It means that
correlation.
Yes, absolutely. If we are to take our entire taxes, we need 6 times of it in order to be able to service our total debts in this country. As we speak today, our debt to GDP ratio is ballooning over 78%. These are figures on the radar. Now, when you go to the market, and this is why I said that, the importer or exporter, Dr. Bawumia said, they had saved him time in clearing his goods. Is not really interested in time in clearing his goods, but is interested in cheaper import rates, is interested in reduction of taxes at the ports, where a container he used to clear for 20,000 should be cleared for 5,000. Today, the price has tripled at the ports. The driver who drives around is not really interested in paying his trot fees through a mobile system or through how do they call it? He said
we will get the QR code. We'll get there.
No, we are there already. Let me explain to you. And without intentions of advertising for any bank. I bank with EcoBank. I can go anywhere and pay through a QR code. These are things, mechanisms already in place. I'm sure other banks also do these things. And these are basic things.
Okay.
So clearly, Dr. Baumia lacks appreciation of current happenings in the country.
Thank you very much. Your time is up. George,
today,
it's okay. Don't worry. You'll be fine. Equal rights and justice. You politicians bring your own notes. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. When we finish, we'll watch the video together. George, so can there be any meaningful digitization if all the things that we're talking about are latched onto the internet, but our internet connectivity and the cost of our connectivity is so high? Data is expensive, connectivity is not at its optimum. Where are we going digitally if we can't fix these ones?
Yeah, that's a good one there. He spoke about internet penetration having moved from 26% to 50%, and that was encouraging. But then it's important to, that's where I think Ashe CSRC president asked question involving the infrastructure, right? And agreeably so.
In my road village, as well.
Yes, in my village, it's difficult. When I'm there and you're calling me, it's difficult to even get me, let alone having internet access and co. So gradually we need to, build on the infrastructure to get into the, rural communities for everybody to be able to access the internet. So we can take advantage of the digital drive that we are pushing. So it's a very good question you've put out. Again, the cost of that. Now, as the number increases, the number of people that are able to access internet and use the platform, as it increases, the mobile telecommunication industry or players will begin to, reduce the cost. It's a natural economic process. When the demand is up, definitely the cost is definitely going to be shared by those number of people, and price will come down. That must be very important, and that can be driven properly by government, okay, with the infrastructure expansion into the rural areas or places that have difficulty in getting internet. So it's a good thing, but we need to work.
How are we proposing to leverage on this digitization agenda to fight corruption? Because if you make everything nice and we are able to plug all the holes and rake in all the money, and some people choose to steal the money, then
how will they steal it?
Well,
because
I mean,
every penny can be tracked.
We saw the Auditor General's recent report.
Yes.
Financial irregularities, salary irregularities, payment irregularities, all of this. I mean, so many of them, a plethora of them.
Yes.
I'm saying that I didn't get a clear direction how we propose to use this digitization or digitalized agenda to fight corruption.
No, one, in the payment platform system, otherwise there would have been a lot of leakages if payments were done manually, okay? So once there's been a platform and payment is going to be made on that and can be tracked by anybody at any time the Ghana Revenue Authority, customs, other relevant agencies can just click their computer and then they will see that, payment has been sent here and co. And so if you're picking it, is that payment can be tracked. How much is gone into the consolidated fund at any time that can easily be tracked. And if somebody is misusing that, then the audit process can even expose that. So when we digitize everything, especially where financial transactions are concerned, it's easy for people, paper trails to be there. And so if X took some amount, you can easily know you took it, what was it used for, at what time, okay? So it will not be what you are reporting to the auditor. Any other person can see that. And I think it's a good thing. Another thing that was touched on by the University of Ghana mathematics lecturer, it's exciting. And the vice president agreed with him and said he should get in touch with him. So that's data analytics. You know, it's not just important to gather data and then store them. Okay, when data is processed, it becomes information. Okay, so if you're able to critically analyze the data that is collected, then you can use it for developmental purposes. Okay, and that is what the lecturer put out, and His Excellency the Vice President agreed with him. And I think is the best way when we are able to understand data that we put out and then interpret them properly. Then we can use them to the better end that we intend to use.
I'll pick up from there. Thankfully, we have a timeline for the implementation of the national ID card system. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And so we hope that by the time we are done with it, this whole visa thing by the first quarter of 2022 will be a reality.
Yes. Now,
can we allow me, please?
Yeah,
can we safely then say we can plug in the RUPA for people outside to be able to vote easily?
Fantastic.
Because that has been our biggest bane. I didn't hear the Vice President make that connection too.
Johnny, fantastic with you. But you see, the ROPAL is still, we have the law, but the law is sitting on the shelves, right?
Because we don't have everybody on one platform.
Good.
If the Vice President says that by 2022, first quarter, we're going to have a Ghana card which could even help people outside travel and come home, then we could have them have their biometrics on it because they're all connected and they can vote.
Yes.
Correct. And I didn't hear that yesterday.
Oh, no, but you see, I want to say it's an important observation you've made, but the Vice President cannot touch on everything at a go. These are very important things that we need to touch on. But ultimately, that's the objective. Once we're building and digitalizing these things that are important to our national growth, roping in our diasporan brothers and sisters to be part of our democratic process, is something that we all cherish, okay? Even though I know a political party that is not too comfortable with that. But with time, they will come to terms with the reality that, yes, we need to get there. And you are right. Once we get that platform where they can all be linked onto, it will be easier for the Electoral Commission to get them to vote from our embassies elsewhere there. And then,
I hear you.
Yes, so that all of them will participate in our democratic processes
I hear you.
in choosing who leads us at any time. It's a good thing.
Malik, how do you respond to this? And it just dropped into my brains at this time, the thing and the voting. How does it come to you, party communications officer?
Johnny, you asked him even before I get to that.
The cost of data.
Question on how the digitalization had an effect on
fighting corruption. Right, I asked that
in
question.
this country. It's fundamental because you see all these things. With digitalization, we link it to every aspect of the economy. And that is how come we'll be able to link it to the agricultural sector. We should be able to link it to the health sector. We should be able to link it to the energy sector. And then realize how this digitalization process has an effect on subsidizing costs or having access or reducing the cost of living in all these sectors. The first point has to do with healthcare. And yesterday, Dr. Baumia made an allusion to the fact that they had expanded healthcare since the Fourth Republic. I mean, it is false. And I dare them to mention one single hospital that they have started from scratch and have completed and commissioned under their era. 5 years of being a vice president. Just one. I don't need two. Just one that they have started, they got funding, and they commissioned under their era. Just one.
The vice president said, I heard the government say they're going to complete your projects.
No, I'm
so that it will expand.
So I'm saying that they should mention one that
of their own.
Listen, that's absolutely of their own that they have finished and they have commissioned. The second point has to do with job creation. They said they have created the most jobs since the Fourth Republic. I mean, clearly, Johnny, you know that as a result of only the banking sector cleanup, as a result of collapsing banks, a department that solely has to do with a team Dr. Baumia leads, that's the economic management team, rendered over 20,000 people unemployed under their government. Again, Napco is directly under the Department and Office of the Vice President. Today, Napco employees don't even know the next steps they are taking in life. Clearly, it has been abandoned. Some have been subjected to leave. And at the same period, Ken Ofurata tells us the public sector is choked, which means absolutely no hope for Napco recruits. Again, he said they had incorporated all farms, cocoa farms, onto the IT systems and what have you. Go and ask the cocoa price, the producer price. Go and ask them whether a CD has been added on since assumption of office in this government. Yet still fuel prices are on the rise. Bringing cocoa beans from their farms to town is on a rise and on an increase. Buying supplements, okay, because the free fertilizer system. With the greatest, I beg your pardon. With the free fertilizer system.
I'm trying to follow him.
Absolutely, the free fertilizer system has been aborted. And
how is that connected to digitization?
He said it. Dr. Baumia said they had brought that.
Those were initial remarks.
He said it clearly that they had brought farms, cocoa farms, and they had registered all of them on the digital system. Clearly, and so that's what I'm responding to. How was that affected? He also made allusions to the fact that their digitalization system had a grips on the economy and had an effect on the entire economy of this country. Clearly, I mean, economic factors and indicators will tell you that there is no effect of this digitalization process on prices of fuel. And you know that, Johnny. A bag of maize is on a rise. How has the digitalization process affected it? Contomre in the market, prices of contomre is on a rise. How has the digitalization process affected it? These are in clear terms and in real terms. And this is what the ordinary Ghanaian is asking for. I just made emphasis to the fact that, but for these indicators and things that were inherited from the erstwhile John Dramani Mohammed's government, any other thing are things that are already in
Let's hear Cookie. Let's hear Cookie out. Cookie, welcome. Let's not keep a woman waiting.
Thank you very much.
Let's not keep the lady
through
waiting.
the messages because, of course, I cannot read all of them. So I'm going to take this first one that came from Prince Henry in Koforidua, a very good one. And it says that the hard truth must be told, Dr. Baumia. Digitalization is not a replacement for provision of potable water, industrial and domestic access to cheaper energy. Digitalization is only relevant if it helps the economy to realize basic needs. Happy belated birthday to Awal Mohammed Husseini of Achim Akroso. Now, Osman Bukrison says this decision of Ghana card being linked to everything is dangerous. The floodgates for cyber hackers has been wide open. I fear for Mother Ghana. Now, this one says, Economist Dr. Baumia, my vice president again, please, is the president aware and has he endorsed all these innovations to use Ghana card as a visa for traveling? Well, all of this has to materialize and must be working effectively before some of us would even actually believe it. Victor Marapcha from Ho sent in that one. And Christopher from Tamale says, good morning, Johnny. Digitizing our economy is a very good initiative, but I'm afraid Ghana is doing it on a very weak foundation. Our data is far from safe and cyber fraud seems to be normal in this country. We need to revisit the basics before we come urging people to go digital. With this kind of porous foundation, we might just be walking on thin ice. Christopher sent in that one. Moving on to a few more. Dr. Downblow from Brimso Apausika says it's highly deceptive for anyone to take the vice president's speech at Ashesi University yesterday as the gospel truth. In as much as I agree that we must have digital economy, I disagree for us to have a partisan database. Now, the vice president just wanted to gain some popularity over Alan Tremating in the impending MPP presidential elections. What was the import of such a lecture? Ghanaians are no more interested in such lectures. We have gone past these self-centered lectures. My regards to Dr. Nana Ama Brown Kluche. I probably would just take the last one. Johnny, this one says a group of qualified physician assistants from 2018 up to now have not been posted yet into the health system. It's been 3 years now, and we are advocating for the Ministry of Health to please post us as a matter of urgency. Thank you. And that came from Sani from Owa, Johnny.
An interested party wants to know the Sky train that was promised by the vice president is also latched on to digitization. He said that was going to happen when in 2020, August 2020. We are in November 2021. Yesterday, he missed that too, or maybe he forgot. Or his scriptwriters didn't put it.
Yes, I think it's a good call. You see, it's a rollout. When he had, we had a certain fair. We didn't say we had achieved 100%.
The results fair.
Yeah, the results fair. We didn't say we had achieved 100%.
He said 72%.
Yes, and then later...
he said 78%. President Kufuor said 72%. And somebody was 74, 72, 78.
Yeah, and the civil society is also marked around
12%.
40-something.
They said 12%. The money says 12%. Was it NDC that said 12%?
The last one issue, Johnny.
Quickly,
I think he
up.
touched on an emotional aspect, which is the drone services.
Right.
The reason his father is passionate about it, and it's a good thing. Last one is the mobile money interoperability.
He didn't talk about the police drones.
Oh, he spoke about drones.
Yeah, but police were going to be giving drones. He spoke about zip line.
No, but police, they have some drones.
They do?
They do. They have some. Because when we had our simulation exercise last 2 or 3 years, the police brought some drones.
They brought some drones. Okay.
Yes. So maybe the number is what we need to talk about.
I hear you.
No, so is it a 4.5 million as against the 4.6 billion that they were going to spend on the interoperability issue that he's talking about? Now the court in the UK, arbitration court in the UK is...
George, access has come. Quickly, 30 seconds.
We still look forward to when the Vice President will fully solve village toilet and water problems so that we have a village-free water and toilet problem. We still look forward to when the Vice President will fully complete, hostels he promised to Kaya East in this country, or when you hold a deba and explain to us whether every Ghanaian has been given a bank account as he promised. We still look forward to when he would fully set up theaters in every region as he promised. And when you complete the 88 or 101 hospitals they promised to 111 to set up around this country. We also look forward to when he will reduce fuel prices. I beg your pardon. We will look forward to when he will reduce the prices of fuel at the pumps. We also look forward to when he would reduce the cost of reasons and all these things. And then, I think that
grateful. Thank you very much, Malik Masintale. He is the Savannah Regional Communications Officer for the NDC. He says I'm not giving him time today. And also George AEC is the National Communications Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO. Thank you to Grandpa Clothing in Dansoman for my outfit. 0209855696. You call them, please, and get something special for you. Know that they are made in Ghana brand. Once you buy from them, you're feeding families and taking care of people's private economies as well.